Hey guys, and welcome to the Nouveau Riche Podcast. So today we're gonna review it, my Bible. Happy New Year, everybody! By the way, it's 2019 now. Whoa, shit's going fast. But we have it, my Bible, the 10x rule, written by Cardone. I love this book, man. I read it over 5 times now, something like that. It's a 240-page book, 23 chapters. At the end of each chapter, there's like a exercise thingy where you can write everything you learn in that chapter down. So it's nice reading this book. And let's get right into it. So first chapter, what's the 10x rule? So it's actually a mindset in which every target you set must be 10 times higher than you actually intended to be it. And then you put in 10x the work, what you think it will actually take. So when doing this, maybe you won't hit your 10x goal, but you will 100% hit your original goal. So for example, let's say next month, February, you want to make 10 grand. Make it 100 grand, work 10 times as hard as you originally planned, and you will 100% hit your 10 grand. Maybe you won't hit your 100, you're going to work for your 100, but the 10 grand is nothing. You'll destroy that one. So Grant Cardone, he says his only regret is that he didn't approach life with the right mindset. So an interesting thing about success, he says, is that it's like a breath of air. Although your last breath of air is important, it's not nearly as important as the next one. So extremely successful people know that their efforts must continue in order for them to realize new achievements. So once the hunt for a desired object or goal is abundant, the cycle of success comes to an end. The same thing is true with your mind. So you gotta keep expanding, keep learning, keep meeting people in order for it to keep that mindset. Otherwise you'll just fall back into your old habits and your old social circle. It's not good. So he says it's the same with maintaining the yard. You gotta maintain it in order for it to get it defined as a success. So it's true. Another thing he says in the first chapter, limiting the amount of success you desire is a violation of the 10x rule in and on itself. When people start limiting the amount of success they desire, I assure you they will limit what will be required of them in order to achieve success. And they will fail miserably at doing what it takes to keep it. You can't kind of just want it. It's 100% or not. 10x people never approach a target aiming to achieve just that goal. Instead, they're looking to dominate the entire sector. So that's 100% Grant. Wait, I don't know. You gotta look up Grant Cardone on YouTube. The motivation of the man, it's awesome. Basic series of mistakes people make when setting out to achieve goals. 1. Mistargeting by setting objectives that are too low and don't allow for enough correct motivation. 2. Severely underestimating what it will take in terms of actions, resources, money, and energy to accomplish the target. 3. Spending too much time competing and not enough time dominating their sector. 4. Underestimating the amount of adversity that they will need to overcome in order to actually attain the desired goal. So any goal you set is going to be difficult to achieve. You will inevitably be disappointed at some points along the way. So why not set it 10 times higher than you intentionally wanted? So like it says right here, you get disappointed. Why not get a greater reward at the end? Second chapter, why the 10x rule is vital. So it says never reduce a target. Instead, increase actions. So the 10x rule assumes that the target is never the problem. Any target attacked with the right actions in the right amounts with persistence is attainable. Regardless of the timing, the economy, the product, or how big your venture is, the right acts done to the right degree over time will make you successful. Assume that every project you attempt will take more time, money, energy, efforts, and people than you can imagine. Multiply every expectation you have by 10 and you will probably be safe. If it doesn't take 10 times more than you anticipated, great. It's better to be pleasantly surprised than greatly disappointed. Third one, what is success? So success is different for everybody. There's no certain definition. For me personally, setting goals and achieving them I don't know. It just the kick I get from that. It's awesome for me, but like it says, there's no certain definition for success. There are three things you need to know though. One, success is important. Two, success is your duty. And three, there's no shortage of success. So success is important because it provides confidence, security, a sense of comfort, the ability to contribute at a greater level, and hope and leadership for others in terms of what is possible. Anyone who's bullshitting you with their cute sayings like success is about the journey, not the destination, blah blah blah. They've just given up on their own chances of achieving success at some point in their lives, and you can't listen to those people. Fuck them. Fourth one, success is your duty. So if you don't take success serious, you bring yourself, your family, and your future at risk. Most people look at it as if it doesn't matter, like it's some sort of option or something that happens just to other people. That's not true. Some people seem lucky, but that's just because success automatically leads to more success. Treating success as an option is one of the most stupid things you can do, and a major reason why most people fail, and not even getting close to living up to their full potential. So if you don't consider it your duty to live up to your full potential, you simply won't. And in this chapter, it's the best quote of the book. It says, "Success is your duty, obligation, and responsibility." I love this one. I have this on all my wallpapers. I love this. Fifth one, there's no shortage of success. Like the title says, there's no limit to success. Life is no win-lose or lose-win situation. The moment you start thinking someone else's gain is your loss, you're limiting yourself by thinking in terms of competition and shortages. Everyone can achieve whatever they want at the same time. Instead of getting jealous, you need to see other people's success as motivation that anything is possible, because it is. This was actually a big one for me. When I saw something in the news like young entrepreneur making it, blah blah blah, for me it was like fuck. But you should see that as motivation for yourself, because like this chapter says, everyone can achieve success at the same time. There's no shortage. So that was a great one for me. Next one, assume control for everything. So it's impossible to take control and acquire success if you don't take responsibility. Successful people hate the blame game and know that it's better to make something happen, good or bad, than to have it happen to you. Anyone who uses blame as the reason why something happened or did not happen will never accumulate real success in life and will only further his or her status as a slave on this planet. To get where you want to go in life, you must adopt the view that whatever is going on in your world, good or bad or nothing, is something caused by you and only by you. You may not be in control of the situation you're in, but you're always in control of your reaction to the situation and thought, and through this be responsible of the situation. If you don't accept responsibility, you can't make it better. So there are 4 consistent factors in life of people who don't take responsibility, of the people who are victims, well, play the victim game. 1, bad things happen to them. 2, bad things happen to them often. 3, they're always involved. And 4, someone or something else is always to blame. I hate this one. I'm sure so many people in my surroundings, they always blame other people. I'm sure in your life that's the same, but those are not the people you want to surround yourself with. 7, 4 degrees of action. So the more action you take, the better your chances of achieving success. Disciplined, consistent, and persistent actions are more of a determining factor in the creation of success than any other combination of things. Understanding how to calculate and then take the right amount of action is more important than your concept, idea, invention, or business plan. So when approaching success, you have 4 choices. 1, do nothing. 2, retreat. 3, take normal levels of action. And 4, take massive action. The first 2 are the basis of failure, and the third one will only create you a normal existence at best. So regardless of which degree of action you operate in, They all require work in their own ways. The person not taking action has to make excuses for his or her condition, and people who take normal action have to live in uncertainty all their lives. Massive action is the level that creates new problems, and until you create new problems, you're not truly operating at your biggest potential. So that's another chapter in the book. A one on problems, we'll get there in a few moments, but that's also a great one. Another thing he says in chapter 7, when taking massive action, you aren't thinking in terms of how many hours you work. Instead, you will start thinking in terms of results. A signal you're taking massive action is people commenting and admiring your level of activity. A lot of people are going to call you out and make it seem like you're on the wrong path, but those are the people who are not at their fourth degree. Remember that massive action is the right direction and can never hurt you and will always help you. Damn right. I feel like every time I'm reading this or I just make the summary, but I always feel like there's a new thing I get out of this. It's seriously a great one. 8. Average is a failing formula. Around 75% of people in the US are living in the middle class, taking normal average action. But this addiction to average can kill the possibility of making your dreams a reality. Any undertaking that includes accepting average will fail you sooner or later. Anything conducted in standard amounts simply won't get the job done, because when average hits any resistance, competition, loss or lack of interest, negative challenging market conditions, or all of these, you will fail. Average will get you just that, average. I've never seen something amazing that was average, so people optimistically overestimate how well things will go and then underestimate how much energy and effort it will take to just push things through. That's why you can't trust on average action. You have to think massive. Rid yourself rid yourself of everything that is average, including the advice you get and friends you keep. This may sound tough, but you have to remember that success is your duty, obligation, and responsibility. And since there's no shortage of success, the limitations you're putting up in your mind are a result of average thinking. Rid yourself of the concept of average, study what average people do, and prohibit yourself from considering average as an option. So, I don't know, man. Living up in the middle class, it's like, I see this around me, and he's right though, but like he says, it's a hard one. But it's a good one though. So, next one. I gotta keep my voice a little down, I think. I feel like. I'm fucking enthusiastic about this book, so I'm talking really fast, but excuse me, it's my first podcast. Let me be me. Alright, 10x goals, chapter 9. The reality is that if you start small, you are probably going to go small. People's failure to think big enough usually means they will never act big enough, often enough, or persistently enough. To keep your enthusiasm from the point you were setting your goals going, you have to make them so big that they keep your attention. Like average goal setting cannot and will not fuel massive 10x actions. So when working with your goals, you need to do two things. One, write them down every day, like you already achieved them. So law of attraction can do its thing on them, you know. Second one, choose goals that are just out of reach. They'll get you to your full potential. And 3, there's a third one. Make sure it is aligned with other goals so they'll get each other up. So for example, I host a podcast which has 10 grand listeners a month and positively changes people's lives. So this is aligned with my other goal of having 100k social media followers. The bigger and the more unrealistic your goals are, the more they are aligned to your purpose and duty. The more you will energize and fuel your actions. Again, I love this one. Never set realistic goals. You can get a realistic life without having to set goals for it. Realistic thinking is based on what other people think is possible, but they are not you and have no way of knowing your potential and purposes. If you are going to set goals based on what other people think, then be sure you do it based on what the giants of the planet think. So set goals like with a mindset of Steve Jobs, something like that. Many people find themselves on a path they're on simply because they're doing what other average people have done. Most people go to college not because they want to, but because they are told to go. You can't let you and your goals get manipulated by your surroundings. True shit. 10. Competition is for sissies. In business, you always want to be in a position to dominate, not compete. Competing with other people limits a person's ability to think creatively because he or she is constantly watching what someone else is doing. Do everything you can to dominate your sector in order to avoid spending your time chasing someone else. Make it so that they want to chase you and try to be like you, not the other way around. The best way to dominate is to do what other people refuse to do. So do what they will not do. I'm talking like knocking on doors until your knuckles bleed, going around in the rain, etc. That kind of things. You have to keep showing up every day over and over and make it obvious that you're not going away. That's how you dominate. You can dominate though if you don't penetrate, and you won't penetrate by using reasonable levels of activity. Do whatever it takes to get noticed and get through the noise. Only the amount of action that will differentiate you from the rest of the people in your sector will get you to dominate. And the quote in this chapter is, "Don't feel sorry for them, dominate them." Love it. 11. Breaking out of the middle class. So here you have some facts. Income is somewhere between 35 and 60k per year. Average savings for 35 to 44-year-olds is 14k. And 3, more people are getting rich and more people are getting poor. The middle class is being squeezed. So the middle class, it's kind of a result of a mindset, Grant says. So the income is just a consequence. The middle class mentality of average and just enough will not create financial security. So the problem is that the middle class members go after what they've deemed necessary rather than really thinking big and going for what they really want. So the only thing you'll have to do different is changing your mindset and taking tremendous action. That's how you break out of the middle class. You gotta work on that millionaire mindset. 12. Obsession is a gift. It is not a disease. So the dictionary defines the term obsessed as the domination of one's thoughts or feelings by a persistent idea, image, or desire. Everyone treats obsession as some sort of disease, but Grant thinks it's the perfect adjective for how you approach success. So to dominate your sector, your goal, dream, or ambition, you must first dominate your entire, your every interest, thought, and consideration. Obsession is not a bad thing. It's a requirement of where you want to go, and until you become completely obsessed with your mission, no one will take you seriously. No one has achieved greatness who wasn't obsessed with their goal. So here he says it's like a fire. You want to build it so big that people feel compelled to sit around it in admiration. And as with a fire, you have to keep adding wood to sustain the heat and the glow. Another thing he says in this chapter is that a child is obsessed with everything he does, but after a while they begin to assume that their intense interest in life and discovery is something wrong or unnatural. They have essentially been bullied by others who have long ago given up on their own obsessions, and in order to change their behavior, that's what those motherfuckers did to them. So this is when a person moves from higher levels of commitment and action to average levels because they want to fit in. That's human nature. So only when the obsessed finally do become successful, they're no longer labeled as crazy, but instead as geniuses. So yeah, that's true. It's like human nature to always want to fit in, but when you break free of that and just go all in and don't give a fuck and be completely obsessed with the thing you desire, then you will become successful. 13. Go all in and overcommit. The most valuable chips you have are your mindset, actions, persistence, and creativity. You can go all in with these as many times as you want, because even if you fail, you can keep going all in. There are certain things in life that have limits, but you don't unless you impose the limits on yourself. You gotta remember, there are no shortages of how many times you can get up and continue. There's no failure unless you quit. It's impossible to use up all of your energy or creativity. It's impossible for you to run out of ideas. You'll never lose the ability to come up with new dreams, have more energy, think creatively, look at a situation or event differently, give someone another call, use another tactic, or act with persistence. There will always be another hand, another day, and another chance. So, think about it. What's the worst thing that can happen if you just totally go for it? Like, you may lose a customer, but there are a lot of more customers. You have unlimited resources to give it your all with the next client. So you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. One of the major differences, he says, between successful and unsuccessful people is that the successful look for problems to resolve, whereas the unsuccessful make every attempt to avoid problems. So, like I said before, you have to create new problems, otherwise you're not moving forward. So remember, overcommit, be all in, and take massive levels of action, follow up by more action and more action and more action. This way you create new problems and deliver at actions that will amaze even you. 15. Burn the place down. Once you take 10x actions, start getting traction, you must continue to add wood to your fire until you either start a brush fire or a bonfire. Burn the place down. Don't rest, don't stop ever. This is your time to shine. The time to celebrate or take vacation will come. Right now you must keep adding wood until the fire is burning so hot that no one and nothing can put out your successes. Newton talked about the law of inertia. I can't pronounce the word. Inertia. It says an object in motion continues in motion. So keep taking action until you can stop your forward momentum. Another thing he says, don't worry about the resistance you're afraid you'll face from either the market or your competitors. They go right out of your way and sit by your fire once they see you're a force to be reckoned with. 16. Fear is the great indicator. And this really is a true one. Fear isn't bad or something to avoid. It's something you want to seek and embrace. It's a sign that you're doing what is needed to move in the right direction. Especially when starting out, you need to be frightened as fuck. You want to be scared until you have to push yourself to new levels to experience fear again. At the level where Grant is at, he says the only thing that scares me is the complete lack of fear. Then you're at some sort of level. It says fear stands for false events appearing real, and fear for the most part is provoked by emotions, not by rational thinking. So the boogeyman does not exist anywhere except in your head. And these boogeymen should actually be a sign that you're moving in the right direction. Fear doesn't just tell you what to do, it also tells you when to do it. Now, most of the times. The only way to conquer your fears is by taking action. Eat your fears. Don't feed them by backing off or giving them time to grow. You need to start seeing fear as a tool. Where you're not experiencing fear, you are not growing. True one. Here he has another chapter. It says it's called the myth of time management. He talks about certain tips for time management. But I want to do a complete episode on that one. Actually, I got a book here. It's called the Eat That Frog, something like that. So I'm gonna do that one because it concludes everything, kind of. So 18. Criticism is a sign of success. Receiving criticism is a surefire sign that you are well on your way. Criticism is not something that you want to avoid, rather it's what you must expect to come your way once you start hitting it big. Let's face it, like no matter what choices you make in life, someone is going to criticize you no matter what, always. When you're not doing good, someone's going to criticize you. When you're doing good, someone is going to criticize you. But like, great quote on that one is, if you hate, you can create. So fuck those people. Success is not a popularity contest. It's your duty, obligation, and responsibility. Laying low just to avoid criticism probably means you're holding yourself back to some degree, and the only way to handle criticism is to foresee it as an element of your success formula. Much like fear, it's a sign that you are making the right moves in the right volumes. getting enough attention and making enough of a splash. Right stuff. 19. Customer satisfaction is the wrong target. So this is mere, how do you say that? Targeted towards companies, but customer service is the wrong target. Increasing customers is the right target. Make your primary focus commanding attention and generating customers before you worry about making them happy. You shouldn't worry about it because you're already over-delivering, like we discussed in the previous chapter. So getting new customers is your only concern. You gotta keep the main thing. A customer is getting the package a day late or something is an issue, should be handled, but the client who never buys your product suggests that you have a real serious customer satisfaction problem because you never made that person a customer in the first place. Another thing he says, even if your product or company delivers perfectly, you are going to get complaints from your customers because they are human. It's, again, human nature to complain. So you can make everyone happy at the same time, and it's a mistake to be scared of complaints. Instead, encourage them, look for them, find them, and then resolve them. Complaints are your customer's very direct way of telling you exactly how to make your product better. Companies fail not because they offend customers, but because they don't take enough action to make these individuals customers in the first place. Right. 20. Omnipresence. Nice word. Unless people know who you are, no one pay attention to what you represent, and without attention you will be nowhere. You have to get people to know you, which means that you have to get attention. The more attention you get, the more places you will be. The more people you are with, the more you can be everywhere. And all of this will improve your chances of using your good name to do good work. You want people to see you so often that they think of you constantly and instantaneously identify your face or name or logo with not just the offering you represent, but even the offering made by those similar to you. Once involved, you need to do everything possible to stay active. Have people see you, read you, hear you, and think about you. Say yes to every opportunity to get your word out. Write about it, talk about it, give lectures on what you do, and even shout on the fucking street if you need to. Get your name out there. That's why I'm starting this podcast, man. Well, at least it's one of the reasons, but again, he's true. He's talking truth on this one. Real success is measured in longevity. So if you want to be excited and passionate for the long haul, then make omnipresence your constant goal. Your name, brand, and reputation are your most valuable assets, only if enough people know of them and use them. And remember, the best way to get revenge on the haters around you is to make yourself so well known that every time they look up each morning when you wake up and right before you go to sleep at night, they see evidence of you and your success. Damn right. Think of it, like that must be so fucked up if someone hates you and they pick up their phone and they see your face. It's a great one. Alright, 21. Excuses. An excuse is a justification for doing or not doing something, but in reality an excuse usually turns out to be something other than the real reason that motivates your actions. Excuses are never the reason for why you did or did not do something. They're just a revision of the facts that you make up in order to help yourself feel better about what happened or did not happen. Excuses are for people who refuse to take responsibility for their lives and how it turns out. The first thing to know about excuses is that they never improve your situation. Second is that you need to start understanding the difference between making excuses and providing actual sound reasons for events. Again, this is one where when I read this I was like, yeah, I do that. But when you feel like that, you're improving, so it's a good one, I guess. Successful people don't make excuses because they know that nothing happens to you, it happens because of you. Excuses are just another component for this and a major differentiator between whatever you will succeed or not. So just quit the excuses and take responsibility. Right. Next chapter is kind of a hard one. It's like successful people talk, think, and approach situations challenges and problems differently than most other people. The only way to be successful is to take the same actions that successful people take. Success is no different than any other skill. Duplicate the actions and mindsets of successful people, and you will create success for yourself. So, I got like 30 pages of traits of successful people. It's just too much to do in one episode, but I'm gonna read, how much are they? 32. I'm gonna read the 32 now. So if you want to, I will do a how do you call that, a complete episode on just these 32. But here we go. It says, having can-do attitude, believe that I will figure it out, focus on opportunity, love challenges, seek to solve problems, persist until successful, take risks and be unreasonable, be dangerous, create wealth, readily take actions, always say yes, habitually commit, go all the way, focus on now, demonstrate courage, embrace change, determine and take the right approach, break traditional ideas, be goal-oriented, be on a mission, have a high level of motivation, be interested in results, have big goals and dreams, create your own reality, commit first, figure out later, be highly ethical, be interested in the group, be dedicated to continuous learning, be uncomfortable, reach up in relationships, and be disciplined. So, yeah, like I said, it's a lot of bullshit. Well, it's not bullshit, it's fucking valuable. But it's just a lot, so if you want to, I will do a complete episode on that one. Last chapter, 23rd one, getting started with 10x. So start acting right after this podcast. Keep acting with knowledge that enough actions taken now will create your future. Write down your goals, your goal list, and keep these 6 points in mind. Do not reduce your goals as you write them. Do not get lost in the details of how you will accomplish them at this point. Ask yourself, what actions can I take today to move me forward with these goals tomorrow? Take whatever actions you come up with, regardless of what they are and how they make you feel. Do not prematurely value the outcome of your actions. Go back each day and review the list. Think of yourself, this is a great one actually. Think of yourself as being a car stuck in the mud. Once you get enough traction to move an inch, then you can begin to get out and live the life you want to live. So it may require you to get dirty, but it's certainly better than being stuck. Second thing to get started is, when you heard what average people say and think, thank them for their advice, remind them that you want their support in going for it, and that let them know that you would rather commit to your dreams and goals than be disappointed, than never even commit and be disappointed again. It's true, it's better. Third one, remember that fear is an indicator you're moving in the right direction when you're experiencing fear. Again, right. Fourth one, last one, start studying successful people and copy their traits. But you gotta remember though, you will never have all the answers, your timing will never be right, and there will always be obstacles and difficulties. However, you can always count on one thing: taking massive action consistently and persistently will get you what you want, will get you success. Action, 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 following up with more action and more action and more action. Always believe in massive action. Let the rest of the world operate at the first 3 degrees of action and watch them spend the rest of their lives fighting for the bits and pieces you left behind. Right. That was it, man. That was the book. I hope you guys kind of liked it. With everything I do, I guess that's what all people, when I look back, like in a year, I will look back at this podcast and I'll be like, what the fuck did I do? But yeah, man, it's just another thing I like to do, another hobby. Like I said, hope you liked it. Hope you got some value out of it. The podcast can only get better from this point on, so believe in that one. Book, great. I loved it. Like I said, there are some points where it's like really, really, really over the top, but that's just is Grant Cardone. That's him. And I actually like that. So I didn't find a point where I couldn't agree on him with him. Yeah, man. I'm gonna give away one copy. Like I said in the introduction to the podcast, I'm gonna give away one copy of the 10x rule to someone who go to my Instagram at luckyquinn3. I'll leave a link in the description. Leave a comment on one of my last pictures, why you want to win, or what you thought about the podcast. Really appreciate you listening to this point. Again, thank you so much for listening to the Nouveau Riche Podcast. I'll announce the winner on my Instagram stories. Destroy your day, man. Make them count. See you in the next episode. Bye.